How can we use this formula? F times G prime equals F prime times G plus F times G prime. How can we use this formula to prove that this formula is true? So F times G times H prime equals F prime times G times H plus F times G prime times H plus F times G times H prime. Well, I'm going to get another sheet of paper and we're going to experiment. With harder problems, experiment. Whatever I write down on this sheet of paper, you don't have to write down when showing your work. This is just for experimentation. But our goal right now, I think, should be to convert this into something that looks like this. All right, if we can convert this to something that we know that is true, then this has to be true as well. So how do I go from here to here? Well, what's the difference between these two equations? The first one has 3 functions. So we need to go from 3 functions down to 2 functions. How do we do that? We can do that by making a substitution. So I'm going to let this treat this as a single function. So I'm going to let function u be equal to function g times h. Now what does this whole equation turn into? So f times how much? Times u prime is equal to f prime times how much? U plus. Okay, now at this point, you might notice that this already looks very close to this. Like the U, like there's a G here and a U here, but you'll notice that, this looks very similar to this. The equal signs match. This looks very similar to this. What do you think should come next here? What do we want here? Ideally, we want an f and then a u prime, f times u prime here. If we can get f times u prime here, then we've effectively converted this into this, which we know is true. Okay. Well, how do I convert this into f times u prime? Well, it's going to be f times something, right? How do I convert this into f times something? By factoring out an f. Okay, so g prime times h plus g times h prime. Okay. What did we say we wanted this part to be again? We want this to be u prime. If we can get this to be u prime, then this is the same thing as this, which we know is true. Well, is this equal to u prime? Okay, so we know that u is equal to g times h. How do we find u prime? Okay, so u prime would be equal to g prime times h plus g times h prime by the product rule. Okay. Actually, we use product rule here and, We use product rule here and here, but okay, we can revise this later when we write down what we plan to turn in. This is just kind of like a rough draft, or not even. This is just experimentation. Okay, so this is actually U prime. Okay, and this is true by the product rule. Okay, so this looks great. Let's clean it up a little bit, and then we'll write down our final draft here. Okay. So what did we do first again? We made a substitution. Okay. And then what else did we say about U? U prime is equal to G prime times H plus G times H prime. Okay. By product rule, U prime equals G prime times H plus G times H prime. Okay. Now, on this sheet of scratch paper, we kind of worked backwards. We started at the end goal and worked our way backwards to something that we knew was true. When we write proofs, we usually start with something that we know is true and work our way towards the desired result. So actually, it'd make more sense to write our steps this way. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this this line over here, the last line. Okay. And okay, so to go from here to here, what did we do? We plugged in U prime. We plugged in U prime equals G prime times H plus G times H prime. But actually what we could do with this equation is we could plug in both U and, plug in U as well as U prime. So let's change it a little bit. Okay, so this is gonna turn into F times how much? So this is gonna be G times H, use G times H, is equal to F prime times how much? Times G times H, okay, plus F times how much? U prime, so we'll change it to this. Okay, and then, yeah, to go from here to here, what do we need to do? Get rid of the parentheses, or get rid of the parentheses here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So this times this is how much? It's going to be F times G prime times H. And then this times this is F times G times H prime.